Hello everyone, this is Leland Best over at BCBLive, and today I'm going to give you a walkthrough demonstration of vMix 17's live production studio software. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm back. This is kind of where we left off just a few minutes ago, and I'm going to simply move along. I wanted to make the video so much shorter than some big, long, obtrusive hour-long video, so that if you wanted to take a break, you could either pause what you had or get through one video real quick and then move along to the next. So where I left you guys before was here in a green screen mode with me off to the side, a video presentation going on in this corner as an overlay, and if we wanted to switch between overlays in just the free version, we could go back and forth on the one overlay channel and represent ourselves as a professional broadcaster online. So let's move on to something else. Another input could be something that we could add here, and don't forget, even though you have a free version, you can add another camera. Now my other camera isn't the greatest camera in the world. I'm looking to get another Logitech shortly, but I do have an older Microsoft HD 5000 which broadcasts in 720p mounted over my other monitor. Hi, there I am. So now you can see I'm actually broadcasting with two cameras at the same time. Both of these are USB cameras. Now you can see here over on the audio mixer side of things, we have a master, we have a Microsoft LifeCam, and we have a Logitech HD Pro. So you can see the audio is being picked up by all of these cameras, although the audio for the Microsoft is not being sent to the master. The only one that is that for the Logitech HD. Now neither of these is providing the output for the recording that I'm doing, so it's really irrelevant to what you're seeing here. I'm picking up all of my audio. If I take you over to my desktop screen over here and I close down my browser, you'll see I have Voicemeeter software being applied, and I can even bring this in over here. This is my mixing software that's taking place in the back. That's what's handling all the sound in the recording. It's placing it on the track. It has nothing to do with vMix, so I can basically turn off any output devices. I can even turn off the master if I wanted to, and it wouldn't make any difference to what I'm doing here. All I'm letting you know is you have the ability yourselves, without having Voicemeeter in your system, you have a full-featured mixer here in vMix. If you don't have a mixing board or you don't have a software solution like I do that you see in the window currently, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and use vMix on its own, and it will give you all the features that you need. So let's move along. The next thing we might want to do, now that we have two cameras, obviously we can switch between modes, and this is where the transitions come into play. I could quick play it and put it right into the output window to the broadcast that I'm doing, or I can fade over to the new camera. I can merge the cameras. I can do a cube zoom into the other camera. However I want to handle this, I have several options. Or I can fade to black. Now you won't see this take place in the output window in real time, but what you'll notice is if you see the peak level here for the audio, if I hit fade to black, which is FTB obviously on the button, what's going to happen is my output channel is simply going to fade out, audio is going to fade out, and the screen's going to go black. Now you'll see the audio bars drop. When I hit fade to black, there will be no more broadcasting out. The light's flashing. That basically says nobody can hear or see me outside of vMix if I'm broadcasting somewhere, which is a good thing, because then when your show's over, you fade to black, you can still talk and people won't hear you, obviously, because the audio, you notice the audio mixer is not bouncing anymore, and your video's not being sent out to the stream that you're using. So you're safe to continue. You know, if your co-host is with you on site and you want to end the show with a thank you and all that, and you can send him on his way. If you wanted to take a short break, well, I'm going to fade to black, I'll be right back. You can fade to black and come back on as soon as you're ready. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. Now, we've done presentation when it comes to an image. So if I wanted to simply switch over, let's say I just wanted to do a screen share, okay, but a full page screen share. I can go to my little window that I had before. I could reset it all. I could close it, and now I could merge this over. Let's turn our fade to black off because we're broadcasting again, let's say. I'm going to merge it over. Now I'm gone. I don't need the overlay for my lower third. You can still see me over here in the preview pane, obviously, but I'm not broadcasting out myself. All I'm broadcasting is what's on that screen over there. So this is where you could do a pretty full-blown presentation at 1080p on what's going on in your little world, or what you're trying to sell, or whatever it is that you're working with, whatever you're promoting. In this case, I'm obviously promoting vMix because this is what I like to do. If you wanted other solutions and products, you could get yourself a vMix Go, which is portable. It's a nice little unit, incorporates a Windows 10 Intel 7 processor with tons of memory and tons of storage space, with SDI outputs and HDMI outputs that you can take on the road. Has a built-in LCD monitor, and it's UL listed and compliant. So that's one of the key features of the vMix Go. Other than that, we mentioned earlier all of this transitioning. Now, the vMix also introduced recently the control surface, which is a really cool feature because the interface itself is a device that allows you to set keys for commands within vMix itself. These are numbered buttons that you could either remember the numbers and have a chart in front of you that tells you what the numbers are for, or you can pull the little tabs off the buttons and replace them with your own labels so that you can use the transitioning. You can do all the merges, the wipes, the cube zooms. The fader bar obviously is now a T-handle bar shown directly on the unit as item number 7. And just to give you an idea of the different transitions you have, you see these 4 little pull downs here. There are many other options for the way that the transition takes place. So I could go with a vertical wipe where it simply wipes me through the screen. Now you don't see that as well. Let's go to this camera view and you'll see it a little better. Let's do it here. You can see the vertical wipe. The cube zoom obviously we've shown you already, but you get a little better idea of how that works. I'm going to transition over to the other screen for a minute so that I can show you a little bit more of, well, basically the last hardware component that's available from vMix, and that is the vMix U, which is a rack-mounted system. It's basically a Windows 10 computer, which is UL listed and compliant. It provides you all, and let's get into the tech specs if you want to really quick. This is basically an Intel quad-core CPU with the Iris Pro graphics. It's 16 gig of memory, gigabit LAN and Wi-Fi, Windows 10, with vMix installed, pre-installed on the unit, along with vMix Social and vMix Title Designer. So these are some of the features, along with the fact that it contains 500 gigabit of internal SSD storage, 2 hot swap trayless SSD drive bays, and basically unlimited plug-and-play capabilities as you move forward in your live streaming experience. Now, this is one of those units that, if you look at the back end of it, it contains the USB 2 connections, the gigabit Ethernet, the Wi-Fi antenna, USB 3 ports, actually 4 of them, the DVI connection, 3.5mm audio, along with HDMI and 4-channel HD SDI input-output. So it's kind of a self-contained thing. It's not unlike a PC, but it is UL listed, which makes a big difference. For instance, what I'm producing these videos on and what I live stream with on a regular basis is a home-built PC that I constructed myself. I use an AMD versus an Intel 7, which would rock AMD's 6-core processor that I'm using off the charts, along with the fact that I am running 16 gig of RAM, an ATI R5 200 video card, which has 2 gig of RAM on it, but it's a fanless card. It's not something high-end. It's something that can heat up a little bit, so I have to be careful when I start doing HD productions. So, I continue to advance my hardware as I move along, but when you consider the fact that a unit like this, when you look at the high-end computers that are out there, you can spend $3 or $4 grand for a decent laptop, and even more for a gaming machine. This unit being at $7 grand, UL listed, that's a huge difference, because if you want to do professional broadcasting and you want to go to, say, a live event or a sporting event, and you want to produce live production, they're not going to let you in the door with something that you hacked together yourself, because you're running into issues with fire potential. The unit could just blow up, melt down, whatever, because it's not UL listed and approved. And something like this is where you're going to go when you start to build up a rack that you can just roll on site, or again, like the vMix U, or I'm sorry, the vMix Go, where you can come in here with a portable unit and just connect everything that you need to this little box with a handle on it. This is basically, if you look at the tech specs on this unit, it's very similar. This is the Intel i7 4 gigahertz with a NVIDIA GTX 950 2 gig card. So there's actually a little bit of difference when it comes to the way this machine runs. It's full of 16 gig of DDR4 memory. This thing is the bomb. I mean, and go ahead and watch Martin Sinclair's video on how this thing functions and how quick and easy it is to set up. You'll be really impressed at how this thing comes together. And honestly, for about the same price, a little bit higher obviously, because this is a portable unit. The monitor's built into the box. There's a lot more to it, but I'm nowhere near this type of production capability just yet. But obviously, as I continue to expand and I continue to grow, I'm going to want to consider these types of options in the future. So you start out small, you move your way up. There's no rush to get to this point. And then there's also those out there who are already at this point and they're looking for a solution to serve a purpose. This is what you're looking for. So I think we'll wrap up this video right about here so that we can absorb what we've learned already and move ahead in the next video to pick up some more of the features that are available in the vMix live production software suite. See you then. For full access to all BCB Live tutorials, be sure to subscribe to this channel.